because you don't like the result, it wasn't what you wanted, and a lot of people go, but no, I can't accept that, and so they struggle with that. This doesn't sink in because they didn't want that, and they just can't let go of that problem that they have with it. No, let go by disliking it. Again, that's your secret weapon. I'm pissed off as hell. Oh my God, I just should not have happened. I want to smash something, whatever. But okay, that's the way it worked out. Next problem. Okay, let yourself steam and be angry and all that stuff. Give yourself that privilege because that's yours and yours alone. All right. Everyone clear about that? All right. Now, they're landing. Is it the AC?
I believe so.
Okay. Normally you can't hear it that distinctly, but just a moment where I wasn't talking suddenly. Yes, question?
Can I add something?
No. Yes, you can.
Have you read the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People?
I've heard a lot about it all my life. It's Dale Carnegie. Okay, I've never read it, the whole book. No.
So like I read it recently, and like I think it's kind of like goes hand in hand with what you were talking about. In that book, he talks about how what a superpower it is to not take things personally, and that really stuck with me.
Yeah, that's huge. I like to explain this as an actor, and it's the way to survive as an actor. Because I have a couple of stories related to that, which I will talk about in a moment. But as an actor, I have to deal with rejection. All right, there's an old saying for an actor: the rejection is the fourth meal of the day. You know, somebody will just say, "No, you're not right. You're not right for the role," and it's very hard to not take it personally. Why? Because it's happening to me personally. It's not somebody else. I'm in the process. They rejected me. All right. Now this is the way I talked myself out of that. Again, intelligently. I went ahead and set a goal. I'm going to try and see how I can deal with this rejection in a way that will, if nothing else, roll off of my shoulders, but also support me and be constructive, right? I'm going to try and deal with this in a way that works. And one way I did it was, remember, when you're auditioning, these are a bunch of people you don't even know, all right? So how could they reject you personally when they don't even know who you are? You go in there, this is a very impersonal process. You go in and you're auditioning for a role, you're reading for something, or you've got a person to your right, and the two of you have a script and you're reading back and forth. You're doing the best you can, you're making creative choices and all that, and they don't choose you, okay? Now, do they know me, Paul St. Peter? They know who I am? They've never seen me before? Maybe they saw my picture. Yeah, well, he might be right for a little, let's bring him in. But I like to put it this way. They don't know you well enough to dislike you or reject you. They simply rejected what you did as an actor. And that doesn't make you a bad actor, you just weren't right for what they were looking for. When I go out and audition for something else, and I might be one of 30 actors, and maybe I was the one that got chosen, he's with us, he's with us, he's with us. Now, ladies and gentlemen, my handler, Joey. He's the reason I'm still upright. Okay. But he does make sure that I get to places on time, and it's not an easy job to do with me. But I make sure to let myself know this has nothing to do with me personally. They don't know me personally. They have no way of knowing if I'm good, bad, or whatever. They have no way of really judging me at all. It's what I did, and was it what they wanted? That's all. Keep it as impersonal as that. Even if you want to call that cold, fine. If calling it cold and being cold about it gets you through, that's fine. What I did a long time ago was just choose to work toward the next goal. Okay, my goal was to go in and do the audition. I read the script beforehand. I got some ideas. That was my way of working toward it intelligently. I got up, either read by myself in front of a microphone or with another actor, and then the result was the way it was. Sometimes you make them laugh and you think, wow, I got these guys in the palm of my hand, and they don't call. I was up for a Yoplait commercial, and I was called in 3 times. Because the first time I did exactly what they wanted, and the two actors I was with didn't. They couldn't get it. And the director said, did you see what Paul did? That is what we're after. He got it right away. And I did. I figured it out immediately what they wanted, and I did it. So they called me that night to come back the next day. And I was the only one for the role because they weren't calling anyone else. I thought, I got this. You know, two different actors. And then they had match up with two more actors. And that's where an actor says, aha, they picked me. They're trying to choose who else is going to work with me. But that's what's happening. And each time, it was 3 different times and 3 different directors, and each one of them said, now, did you see the way Paul did that? He is doing exactly what we're after. Why can't you guys get that? And that's a terrible way for a director to treat people, but that's the way they treat people sometimes. You know? In this particular case, I was being treated very nicely. Yeah. This guy is figuring it out. And it was this melodramatic thing. He was supposed, no, don't you understand? This is the real problem. And the other 2 actors were supposed to get together, and there's a young couple, like who would be in a soap opera, and they're doing this, and they're supposed to be related to each other. And again, they couldn't do it, you know. And so what happened after 3 calls? Never heard a word. Now here's how you survive as an actor. Here's how you accept the result. It may or may not be true, but it helps. No, they probably never even produced the commercial in the first place. And that happens. I've been cast in projects, and then they got canceled. The money fell through, you know. And sometimes they'll call you and say, you know, look, you were great, you were who we wanted and all that stuff, but one of the sponsors pulled out, so the money's gone. You know, I'm sorry, you know. And again, accept the results. You think I like that result? I did everything right. Somebody else, you know, pulled the rug out from under me. But that's how you accept it. I, as an actor, accept it this way. It is not against me personally. What I did wasn't what they wanted. That doesn't mean I don't know how to do this. I've had enough success and had enough good auditions where I've booked things where I know I'm going in and doing something right each time. But there are times when I've gone in and done the best audition. I've given them everything I have, everything you guys hear in my work in anime and video games. I go in and I just, it's not just I hit it out of the park, it's a grand slam, right? They pick somebody else. And I find out later, they just like that guy's voice better. And they even acknowledged I did the best reading, you were the best actor for the part, but there's something about that guy's voice we like. I can't do a damn thing about that, can I? That's the way it worked out. So I walk away going, all right, I did everything I could. That's my way of accepting this result. Of course I don't like it, especially when I hear the guy's work later and it's flat and uninteresting. And I said, really? That's what they picked? They picked his voice, apparently not his performance. You know, if they had picked my performance, they would have been much happier. But who knows? And you have to keep that in mind too. You're dealing with people, and many times that don't know what they want. They expect the actor to come in and show them what they want, okay? And that's when they say, oh my God, that's perfect. You know, you're the only one to get it. We've been communicating this, and you're the only one who's figured out. In fact, they haven't been able to communicate it to anybody. I, as an actor, went in and made an intelligent guess and did it the way they wanted. And sometimes that happens. You just look at the paperwork, and you look at the script, you look at the lines and all that, and you just jump on it. You're ready to ace the damn thing. And they didn't do that for you. They didn't give you that. They didn't help out in any way, shape, or form. You were the one that figured it out. They said, oh my God, this is great. Nobody else has been able to figure it out. You're the first one, you know. Even then, sometimes they don't call. You know? But how do I accept that result? I have to accept it by first not liking it. When I went in and did the best job, and I mean, it wasn't the best job I could do, I did the best job of anybody, and you didn't choose me. What the heck, you know? But that's it. Let myself be angry and upset with it, and accept it at the same time. I don't have to like the results. I do need to accept them, though. Otherwise, you can't move on. I'm stuck in that last process. I was at a workshop